Hello, welcome back to the challenge lab of AWS Solution Architect Associate. So this is the first challenge lab we'll be doing in this session. This series will be consisting of the challenge lab from the AWS Academy. So in this challenge lab, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating a static website for the cafe, correct? So let's learn about the lab overview and the objectives. So in this lab, we can use the Amazon Simple Storage Service, which is also known as Amazon S3, to build a static website and implement architectural best practices to protect and manage the data. So after completing this challenge lab, we should be able to host a static website by using Amazon S3, implement one way to protect the data with Amazon S3, implement a data lifecycle strategy in Amazon S3, implement a disaster recovery strategy in Amazon S3. At the end of this lab, our architecture will look like something like this. So this is a website, cafe website, and then we are hosting our Amazon S3 bucket in multiple regions. Let's give it a try. So I've started the lab, and then I can just directly open the AWS. So in our task 1, it's extracting the file that we need for this lab. So let's extract the files. So here I'll say AWS S3, and then I will store this inside my desktop. Save. So we have downloaded the file. So on the computer, extract these files, and once the downloading is completed, we will extract the files and see what all contents the file have it. So we have successfully downloaded the file. So the folder consists nothing but a folder of CSS, another folder of images which has multiple different type of images, and then an index.html which will basically render the website. Okay, so we have downloaded the file. So now in task 2, let's create an S3 bucket to host our static website. So in this task, you will create an S3 bucket and configure it to host your static website. So let's open the S3 console. And then we have to create a bucket in the North Virginia US East 1 region. So let's ignore about the already available bucket. So let's create a new bucket. So this will be CHA challenge lab learn with Pratap. So it's asking us to create in US East 1. So in this case, we have to do ACLs enabled. I don't think we have to do this. So I need to block all this public access and acknowledge this. So for now, let's not do anything about the versioning and all. Okay, so let's create bucket. So the first thing, like to be able to host a website in this S3 bucket, what we have to do is we have to enable property which is static website hosting, which is currently disabled. So we need to enable this. So it's very simple to enable. Let's enable it. Like hosting type would be hosting a static website. So this document will contain nothing but an index.html, and we don't have any error document, so it's optional. So let's leave it. So let's save this one. So now we have the bucket. Okay, static website hosting is enabled in this bucket. So this is the bucket URL. So now we won't be able to access this bucket because we haven't gave any permission here. So let's continue with task 3. So let's upload content to our S3 bucket. So in this task, we will upload the static file to S3 bucket. So let's upload the index.html file here. So to upload, we need to go to this object, click on this upload, add files, and then let's choose index.html. So it's asking us to upload the index.html and the CSS and images folder in S3. So let's add the folders, CSS, upload, add folder. Let's upload the, 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 images folder to upload, and let's upload it. So it will take a bit of time. So till the time it's uploading, let's go to another. So in a separate web browser tab, open the endpoint link for the static website. It's successfully uploaded. Let's close this tab and let's open this browser. So it's still forbidden because we haven't given any permission. So it's asking us to answer a few questions about the lab. Access the question in the lab. Like, let's go to detail. Let's go to show. Access the multiple choice question. So let's go with question 1. When viewing the website after task 3, do you see the web page in the browser? No, the files are not publicly accessible, which I've just mentioned here. Since the files are not publicly accessible, we are getting this 403 forbidden, correct? So let's leave it that way. Let's close this tab and let's continue with other task. So in the page you loaded, answer the first question. So we have already done this. Creating a bucket policy to grant public read access. So here, create a bucket policy that grant read only permission to public anonymous user by using the bucket policy editor. So we can go to bucket policy editor. So this is the bucket policy editor. Let's go to the editor. So here we need to add a statement. Okay. So what this task is asking us to do is we have to create a policy that will give access to anonymous user. Like currently I'm an anonymous user. When I try to access this link, I'm getting 40 forbidden. But using this bucket policy, I need to be able to give anonymous access. So let's add new statement. So every statement ID will have every statement will have a statement ID. So let's say allow anonymous access, correct? So we have to allow, the effect will be allow, and then we have few actions. So actions will be nothing. We just want to give an action to allow the anonymous user should be able to access these objects, right? So we have get object. So this means this statement, what it's saying is it will allow it. What action it will be able to do? It will be able to get object. On which resource? So I can also give the resource. So giving resource is also pretty simple. ARN single colon AWS S3 and then our bucket ARN which is basically this one. Oh, I can directly paste this. Sorry for that. So we would like to give access to get object for this bucket, anything inside the bucket, because I want to give access to all the objects inside this bucket. Also I need to provide this principal, which is all. So it should be in string. So let's try to review this bucket policy again. What does this bucket policy do? It allows anonymous access to objects, right? To objects. So what is the effect? It's allow. What does it allow? It allows to get object from the S3 bucket. For which bucket? For this particular bucket. Okay. So let's save it. So we have updated the bucket policy. Confirm that the website for the cafe now is publicly accessible. So after doing that, I should the bucket should be accessible. Amazing. Like we are able to serve the website, right? So this is amazing. So let's go through another challenge. So in the next challenge, what we're having is, so in the new challenge, what we'll be doing here is we'll be protecting the website data. So in task 5, we'll be enabling versioning on the S3 bucket, correct? So let's enable versioning on the S3 bucket. So enabling versioning in S3 bucket is pretty simple. What we have to do is we have to go to the property, and we have here bucket versioning. So let's edit. So let's enable. So what we are getting a note here. We should always note this. If we enable bucket versioning once, that means we need to update our lifecycle rule to manage previous versions of object. So let's save change. So I've enabled versioning. So let's continue. So in your favorite text editor, open index.html file. For example, you could use Notepad for example. Okay? So let me open that index.html file. So okay, so I've opened this index.html file. So let's continue. Modify the file according to the following instruction. Locate the first line that has embedded CSS color, BG color, aquamarine in the HTML and change it to Greensboro. So I need to find BG color equal to aquamarine. So let's go and find aquamarine, BG color aquamarine. So I'm able to see here in two places. So let me, what I have to replace to, I have to replace with Gainsborough. So let's do that. I've changed to Gainsborough. It's asking me to change orange to corn slick. So I saw orange here. So I need to change orange to corn slick. So I have already done this one, Gainsborough. So I need to save this and I need to re-upload this. So let's go to object, let's go to upload, let's go to add file, and then let's go to this folder, and then I need to re-upload this index.html and click on upload. So the uploading is completed. So here we can see that we have orange here and we have aquamarine here. So if I refresh, the color should change, right? So yes, it indeed changes. So earlier it was orange, so we get here this new color. So let's continue again. So to see the latest version of the index.html file, go to your bucket and choose list versions. So let's go to bucket. Let's close this window. Let's go to bucket and let's go to this index.html and we can go to this version. So that means this was the old version and this is a new version. That means here the index.html file has BG color as aquamarine and orange, and then in this new version it is having, oh yeah, it's mentioning here is this is the current version. So this is simple. Let's continue. So return to the web browser tab with multiple question. So let's answer this. What is another way to ensure maximum protection and prevent accidental deletion of preserved version? So I think it should be multi-factor authentication. So let's go to the challenge tree. So here we need to set up the lifecycle policies. So in this task, you will set a lifecycle policy to automatically move older version to the object. Okay. In task number 23, what we have to do is configure two rules in the website's bucket lifecycle configuration. To receive full credit, create two separate rules. Do not configure two transitions in a single rule. In one rule, move previous version of all source bucket object to S standard IA. And then in the other rule, we have to delete previous version of the object after 365 days. So we need to, so it should be inside management. So we have a lifecycle rule here. So let's create a lifecycle rule. So the first, like they're asking us to create multiple rules. One rule, it should be 30 days. So I'll name this 30 days. So I'll apply this to every object. Move current version of object between storage classes. So let's do this. IA. And it should be 30 days. So let's create the rule. So in the another rule, we should delete the previous version of the object after 365 days, right? So let's do that once this is successfully created. So let's create another rule. So this will be 365 days. It should be for all the buckets. So we will permanently delete. So it's asking us to delete previous versions of object after 365 days. So for how many in the number of days, it should be 365 days. So I've created multiple rules, right? So in this task 7, we will be enabling cross-region replication. In a different region than your source bucket, create a second bucket and enable versioning on it. The second bucket is your destination bucket. So let's create one more bucket. So the other bucket was in US East 1, so we have to create in another region. CHALL challenge lab learn with Pratap. So the region should be other than US East 1. So let's choose US East 2. So same thing. So we have to enable versioning here, and let's create a bucket. So we can always look from this region. So this is a source and this is a destination. So on our S source means this one, the bucket with the region US East 1. So I need to go to properties. So I need to enable cross region replication here. So where is that? So it should be in the management. So we have here a replication rule. It should be enabled. So the source bucket is this one, and then we have to add a destination bucket. So the destination bucket would be the bucket within the region US East 2, right? So let's choose US East 2, choose path, and then in the IAM role I have to choose a cafe role. So cafe role, and then so we need to know that the cafe role has the following permission. And let's save it. Oh, I need to have a prefix. So it should be for all the bucket, and let's save it. So let's replicate the existing bucket. So let's not generate the report, let's just save it. So let's return to this one. We have to answer question number 3. Do you see the object from your source bucket in the destination bucket? So let's go to Amazon S3 buckets. So this is US East 1 is a source bucket, US East 2 is the destination bucket. So let's go here. So we don't see any objects, right? So it should be no. Make a minor change in the index.html file and upload a new version of your source bucket. So here what I'll say is, so let's add one header here, h3. So this will be basically Pratap. I'll add here learn with Pratap. So if I added learn with Pratap here, so let's save this, and I have to upload this to the source bucket. So which is my source bucket? Let's go to the buckets, and this is my source bucket. US East 1 is my source bucket. Let's go to this one. Let's upload, add files, index.html, open, upload, close. So now verify that the source bucket now has 3 versions of index.html file. Let's go to this one. Let's go to buckets. So US East 1 is my source. So let's go to source. Let's go to index.html. Let's go to version. So now we have 3 versions here. So this is correct. Confirm that the new object was replicated to your destination bucket. You might need to reload the browser tab. For this, let me just open another tab. So I'll open here the destination bucket. So we have this index.html file here. So it's replicated successfully. Go to your source bucket and delete the latest version. So this is my latest version. I want to and I want to delete it. So this is my source bucket. This is index.html. So this is different version. This is the latest version, and I want to delete it. So it's better to copy paste than type in. So let's delete the object. Return to the browser tab with multiple choice question for this lab and answer the was the version that you just deleted from your source bucket also deleted from the destination bucket. So this is the source bucket. I have deleted the latest version, but let's refresh here and see if the file was deleted here. So the file is not deleted. Question 4. Let's go to question 4. Was the version that you just deleted from your source bucket also deleted from the version destination version? No. So I think with this we have just completed our challenge lab. So these are the different questions. So this is it from this challenge lab. The next lab would be challenge lab of module 4. So from next time, like once I complete challenge lab of module 4 and 5, then after that what we'll do is we will do the guided lab and then challenge lab for each module rather than completing all the challenge lab and all the guided lab. So this is it from this challenge lab. Hope to see you in next challenge lab or guided lab or some other problem solving videos. So I hope you liked the challenge lab. So I suggest you to do the challenge lab by yourself. So the more you do the challenge lab, the more hands-on you will get. This is it from it. So please like, share and subscribe if you like the content. Also share to your friends. Nice to meet you.